Hey, what's going on? I'm Brandon Bain.
Hey, good evening. I'm Dan Folds.
Welcome to Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Thank y'all for tuning in.
iRacing and eNASCAR. Now, if you've been paying attention to this, you remember that not long ago, it's going to be a cheers. If you remember not long ago, I heard on this channel right here the first time iRacing, what the hell is iRacing, and William Byron. Because when people talk about iRacing, William Byron is in the next sentence typically. iRacing and eNASCAR. Well, I've been learning about that stuff today. They had a sim race this last weekend. Actually, they have a sim race every week.
Yep.
And we're going to talk a little bit about this because, as it turns out, sim racing is what NASCAR has now turned to while we have all the races canceled.
I'm gonna do that.
So, regarding iRacing presentation on TV, if you've never seen one, you can go to YouTube and you can Google it.
Check them out.
Check them out.
Yeah.
It is an unbelievable production, the quality of the production.
Yeah.
I just had it on in the office here at Coach's. I had Caitlin come into the office. I said, hey, look at this race right here. And it's on the computer here at Coach's. And I said, what do you think about this race? She did not know that it was a simulation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's...
She actually didn't. I go, that's a simulation.
Yeah.
That's not real. She was absolutely floored. I mean, she had no idea that it wasn't real.
live commentary.
They've got just
big
like the
sponsors.
race.
I will tell you, it is a big deal, man. Like I was saying earlier, from what I've heard through the grapevine this weekend, iRacing, don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, a couple of these big name guys are going to race in this race. Denny Hamlin, I also know, has a lot of ties that are in that in the eRacing, eNASCAR, or iRacing. He actually helps sponsor some guys, or I don't know if that's right, or
There's guys that have teams, right?
He's got big ties. Oh yeah, man, this is something. It's not these names that you see out here on Sunday racing, obviously. It's but there's some big names like guys, you know, that are in there that race every week that are really good talent.
Some of those big names will be racing in a iRace this weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I hear, man.
So this, and it's going to be on NBCSN Sports Now. I think I looked
Right.
at. This is going to be on network TV this weekend.
And it'll be a little different, man. It's going to be different. It's not your typical racing. I've watched a couple races online, watched a couple things. It's you know, it's racing.
Yeah.
It's just not racing, you know.
Well, I get you. Is this kid who's doing iRacing and NASCAR, is he a driver? You know, if he's good in iRacing, is he ever, you know, does he deserve to be considered a good driver? Well, as we were saying, William Byron came up doing iRacing. And he's doing pretty good. He won a Xfinity race, I want to say in 2017.
A lot of Xfinity races.
And then got sucked up to NASCAR.
Craftsman Truck Series, and then got there. But what I do want to state is this. The difference is you cannot simulate nature. You cannot simulate natural occurrences. You cannot simulate temperature. You cannot simulate vibration. You cannot simulate vision.
G-forces.
Exactly. You cannot simulate this. And if you have that kind of money to do that, then you might as well just go ahead and have the money to get in a car.
Sure.
I think it is a very great learning tool for a driver that is already there. For somebody who has come up and put their work in as a dirt track driver or asphalt or whatever, and now here I am and I have this opportunity. Let me sit in this seat in a race for hours upon hours upon hours. Same thing as going out back and throwing the baseball, pitching for hours, throwing the football for hours to a receiver, running routes forever. It's the same thing. It's definitely going to help because the more seat time you have, the quicker you're going to evolve. Very rare do you ever see a driver with talent hop in and win.
Okay.
Very rare.
Okay.
Do you see it hop in and win?
Okay.
When you see that, you better get on it because when it happens, it's very few and far between.
So, good. All good points. I think that NASCAR is brilliant doing this because what do kids like doing?
Oh yeah, video games.
Kids like playing video games.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the way NASCAR is going to hook a whole bunch of very young eyeballs. And as bad as this CV event is, and as bad as stopping the races, this is getting ready to be a big story. It came out today. It showed up in my Google feed on my phone. Hey, NASCAR is going to do iRacing.
Yeah.
I never even heard of iRacing until you told me on this show maybe 3 weeks ago. This is now going to be national news, and there's going to be a whole bunch of little kids that are going to go, holy crap, I can get a video game and I can be a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, going back to about the year 1998, there was a driver, I wish I could remember who it was. I was listening on the radio, and he was complaining about Jeff Gordon, because Jeff Gordon was this kid, and he was really good. And this driver, as he's complaining, goes, well, you know, he's just a kid, and all he's done his whole life is he's played video games. And, you know, you play video games, and you just do the same thing over and over and over, and you get really good at doing the same thing over and over again because you're playing a video game. And I was thinking, well, maybe that, you know, there might be something to that. Maybe doing the video games helped this kid named Jeff Gordon, who's having his last year, or had his last year.
That's called being the GOAT. That's all that is, man. That's called being the best one ever to do it, in my book. And I'll say it loud and proud all the time, man. Doesn't have championships, but when you look at statistics, it's ugly. So
there was a great video just came out with Regan Smith and William Byron, and they're sitting there, and Regan Smith had never been in an iRacing simulator seat before, and those two guys get in there in this YouTube video, and they start racing, and they're on a track that Regan has driven in a car before, and he's driving around and he hits a bump and he goes, hey, that bump is exactly where it's supposed to be. Right. So that goes back to them gathering data, and they actually take lasers in devices out on these tracks, and they scan these tracks. They know every crack. They make it so realistic.
So that started as a piece of technology. What they came out with originally was called a 3-post, and I don't remember exactly when it came out. It's been out for a while now. So these big teams, obviously, like you said, went out and scanned these tracks.
Yes.
And it started out as like a chassis machine. So what they would do is they build a chassis, and they'd say you're going to run Atlanta in 3 weeks. So they'd take it and they'd put the chassis, and they'd take that information from that laser grid, and they would run that chassis the length of the race, if not double the length of the race. And like you said, it simulates every bump, every crack, everything in the track on that chassis to see what flexes, what bends, what wears, what tears.
Yep.
Make your corrections now before when you get there, you have a part break, your day's done. So it started out, and it was a big deal. There wasn't very many teams. Hendrick had one, Childers had one, I'm sure Penske had one. Roush probably had one, big names probably had one, but a lot of these guys did not have that information. That's where that started out.